The lesson. The battlefield was silent at last. Smoke curled into the night sky where the Dominion flagship had fallen. Its shattered hull burned in the ruins of the city, broken engines glowing like dying embers. Around it lay weapons, bodies, and the scars of war. The alien soldiers who survived no longer fought. Their weapons lay scattered on the ground, abandoned in defeat. They huddled together near the wreck of their once mighty ship, eyes wide with fear. The roar of the Dominion had become whispers of despair. Across the city, human soldiers stood, bloodied and bruised but still alive. Their uniforms were torn, their faces dark with soot, yet their eyes shone with fire. Civilians emerged slowly from bunkers, their cheers rising into the smoke-filled sky. For the first time since the invasion began, Earth stood free. In the center of the battlefield, the human general walked through the ruins. His steps were steady, though his body carried wounds. Every soldier who saw him straightened their back, drawing strength from his presence. He stopped before the broken form of the alien commander. The once proud leader of the Dominion lay on the ground, his massive blade shattered, his armor cracked open. His black eyes flickered with the last remnants of pride and rage. He tried to rise, but his strength was gone. The general looked down at him, his rifle lowered. His voice was calm, quiet, but it carried through the wreckage. You came here believing we would kneel. You came here believing Earth was weak, but you never understood who we are. The alien commander hissed, his voice weak. You are nothing but savages on a cursed world. The general's eyes hardened. You call it cursed. We call it home. The storms, the fire, the beasts, the endless struggle. They did not break us. They forged us. He stepped closer, his boots crunching over shattered stone. You thought we would yield, because that is what every world has done before. But Earth is not like other worlds. Earth is a death world, and we are its children. The alien's eyes widened, trembling at the words. The general leaned closer, his face shadowed by firelight. Tell your Dominion what happened here. Tell them what you saw. Tell them why you should never corner humanity. The commander tried to speak, but no words came. His pride was gone. His fear was everything. The general turned away, his voice rising for all to hear. This battle is over, but the war is not forgotten. Let them carry the memory of this day to the farthest stars. Let them know what happens when they expect Earth to yield. The soldiers roared. Their voices echoed through the ruins, carried by the wind across the broken city. It was not just a cry of victory. It was a warning to the galaxy. Above, the last alien ships broke formation. What remained of the Dominion fleet turned and fled, engines burning as they vanished into the void. They carried no trophies, no triumph. Only fear, and that fear would spread. Across distant systems, whispers would grow. The Dominion failed. The Death World fought back. The humans did not yield. They gave devastation. In the command bunker deep below the Earth, the human leader stood before his people. Screens flickered with images of burning alien wrecks, of survivors embracing, of cities scarred but still standing. His voice was calm, steady, the same voice that had never once shown fear. Today we proved a truth. We are not prey. We are not weak. We are human. And no matter the empire, no matter the fleet, no matter the threat, we will never kneel. Cheers erupted, louder than the thunder of war, louder than the roar of alien cannons. The sound spread across Earth, uniting billions in one voice, and above them the stars glittered. Once, they had seemed distant and unreachable. Now, they looked like a challenge, a promise. The lesson had been written in fire and blood. Aliens expected Earth to yield. But they got total devastation. The breaking point. The Dominion warship bridge was a storm of panic. Screens flickered with reports of failure. Soldiers crushed in collapsing tunnels. Tanks lost in deserts. Squads erased in forests. Entire platoons screaming for help before silence claimed them. The commander's claws dug deep grooves into the metal of his chair. His black eyes blazed with fury, but behind the rage, fear gnawed at him. Every strategy, every weapon, every strike, they had all failed. The humans refused to break. Still, his pride would not allow surrender. He stood tall, his voice echoing like thunder. Enough of this. If they will not kneel, then we will destroy them completely. Prepare the doomsday strike. Charge the super cannon. Gasps filled the bridge. Officers hesitated, their claws hovering over the consoles. The super cannon was not meant for planets. It was a weapon to shatter moons, to erase fleets. Using it on Earth would burn cities, oceans, entire continents. One officer whispered, "Commander, if we fire that, there will be nothing left to rule. The planet will be ash." The commander roared, spittle flying from his teeth. "Better ash than defiance. Fire it now." Reluctantly, the crew obeyed. Energy surged through the warship. Blue, lightning crawled across the walls. The air hummed with deadly power. Outside, the supercannon's maw began to glow, brighter and brighter, until the whole sky lit like a second sun. On Earth, people saw it. A burning star above their world, growing larger, ready to unleash annihilation. Fear rippled through bunkers and shelters. Children clutched parents. Soldiers stared upward, their hearts pounding. In an underground command room, the human leader watched the screens. His eyes narrowed. He did not shout. He did not panic. His voice was calm, steady, the same as always. They are desperate, and desperation makes them blind. He turned to his generals and scientists. Now, activate Phase 3. On hidden frequencies, a signal spread like a whisper across Earth and into orbit. Satellites caught it. Submarines received it. Drones waiting in silence awoke. And then, something extraordinary happened. The Dominion flagship's glowing supercannon flickered. Its hum turned into a scream. Energy bent the wrong way, sparks flying like firestorms inside the weapon's core. The commander's eyes widened. No, this cannot be," his officers shouted in terror. "The firing sequence, reversed. They've hacked the cannon. It's turning on us." The supercannon fired, but instead of striking Earth, the beam curved inward. Blinding blue light tore through the Dominion fleet itself. Cruisers vaporized in seconds. Entire carriers split in half. Smaller ships were ripped apart like paper in a storm. The flagship itself shook violently, flames ripping across its hull as the cannon's feedback burned through its systems. The crew screamed, some thrown into the air as consoles exploded. From the surface of Earth, the night sky lit with brilliance. Billions watched as alien ships burst like fireworks, falling in flaming pieces toward the oceans below. The sky itself seemed to celebrate the destruction. The commander slammed his claws onto the console, sparks scorching his skin. How? How can they twist our own weapon against us? A voice answered him. Calm, cold, human. You gave us your strength when you came here, and we used it against you. The human leader's words cut through every frequency. The Dominion crew froze, their hearts pounding as his voice echoed inside their bridge. You thought we were weak. You thought we would yield. But every strike you make only feeds our fire. You cannot break us because this is not just a planet, this is a death world. And we are its children. The commander's mouth went dry. His hands shook. Around him, his officers no longer met his gaze. Their black eyes were wide with something he had never seen among them before. Defeat. On Earth, cheers erupted across shelters and bases. Soldiers roared in triumph. Families cried with relief. For the first time, the invaders were not gods of destruction. They were the ones burning, the ones falling. The Dominion fleet was breaking. Their mighty flagship, scarred and smoking, drifted like a wounded beast in the sky. And for the first time in Dominion history, they realized the truth. They had underestimated humanity. And now, they stood at the breaking point. The final stand. Dominion fleet was shattered. Wreckage drifted in orbit, burning like falling stars as it crashed into Earth's oceans and deserts. The sky that once belonged to the invaders now glowed with their destruction. But one ship remained. The Dominion flagship, scarred and smoking, hung in the heavens like a wounded predator. Its engines roared weakly, and flames bled from its hull, but still it lived. Still it fought. On the bridge, the commander clutched the railing with trembling claws. His armor was scorched, his black eyes wide with fury. "I will not be broken," he growled. "I will bring this planet down with me." His crew hesitated. Their weapons were useless. Their shields were gone. Their hearts were shattered. Yet, their commander's pride pushed them forward. "Take us down," he roared. "We will crush them on the ground if we cannot in the sky." The flagship descended. Fire trailed behind it as it pierced the atmosphere, casting a burning shadow across Earth. Cities looked up and saw the massive shape blotting out the stars. Sirens wailed as people braced for the last battle. On the ground, human soldiers prepared. Tanks rolled into ruined streets. Anti-air batteries swiveled skyward. Fighters launched again, engines screaming as they formed lines in the clouds. The human leader stood in his command room, his eyes steady. "This is their last move," he said quietly. "Hold the line. Earth does not yield." The flagship slammed into the ground near a ruined city, its massive bulk shaking the earth like an earthquake. Towers fell, glass shattered, and smoke rose in pillars. From the wreck, alien soldiers poured out, thousands of them armored and roaring. Plasma weapons lit the night. The final stand had begun. Human forces met them with fire and fury. Bullets tore through the streets, rockets screamed overhead, and tanks thundered as they unleashed shells into alien ranks. The ground became a storm of fire and smoke. The commander himself stepped out of the burning flagship, towering above his soldiers, his armor cracked but still gleaming. He raised a massive blade, roaring into the chaos. "This world will bow." But the humans did not bow. They fought with everything they had. Every street turned into a barricade, every building into a fortress. Civilians threw Molotovs from rooftops. Soldiers dragged wounded comrades to safety, then returned to the fight. The humans were bloodied, scarred, but unbroken. In the center of the battle, the human general marched forward. He was not young, his face lined with years of struggle, but his eyes burned with the fire of defiance. He carried no shield, only a rifle in his hands and determination in his heart. The alien commander saw him and snarled. "You dare face me?" The general's voice was calm. "I don't dare. I choose." They clashed. The alien swung his blade, sparks flying as it tore through concrete and steel. The general dodged, fired, and struck back, moving with speed that belied his age. Around them, soldiers on both sides paused, watching the duel that would decide the fate of Earth. The commander was larger, stronger, armored. But the general fought with cunning. He used the ruins around him, ducking through debris, striking from shadows, forcing the alien into mistakes. The alien roared, bringing his blade down in a killing strike, but the general rolled aside, leading him straight into a hidden trap. A buried explosive detonated beneath the commander's feet, shattering the ground. He staggered, roaring in pain. The general rose, his rifle aimed steady. "You thought we would break. You thought wrong." He fired. The shot cracked through the battlefield. The alien commander fell, his blade clattering onto the rubble. Silence spread as Dominion soldiers watched their leader collapse, defeated not by power but by human will. The human soldiers roared. Their voices shook the ruins, their battle cries rising like thunder. The aliens faltered, their courage gone. One by one they dropped their weapons, retreating back toward their broken flagship. The humans pressed forward, flames and smoke at their backs, defiance in their hearts. Earth had held. Above the battlefield, the sky cleared. No more alien ships loomed. No more weapons threatened. Only stars remained, stars that now belonged once again to humanity. The trap revealed. The night sky above Earth was alive with fire. Alien plasma bolts tore through the air, while human missiles streaked upward like blazing arrows. Explosions flashed across the heavens, so bright they lit entire cities below. The battle had begun in full, but the aliens still believed victory was only a matter of time. On the Dominion flagship, the commander stood tall, though his eyes narrowed as more of his ships burned in orbit. "Their weapons are surprising," he admitted, "but they are limited. They cannot hold against us forever." His words rang with arrogance, but inside his chest, doubt began to stir. Every new explosion, every sudden strike from the planet below chipped away at his confidence. Then, without warning, Earth's silence returned. The skies went strangely still. Human missiles stopped launching. Ground weapons ceased their fire. Even the fighter jets pulled back into the clouds. The alien fleet hung in orbit, weapons glowing, waiting for the next wave. Confusion spread across the Dominion bridge. Officers hissed to one another, scanning their displays. Why have they stopped? Are they out of ammunition? Have they surrendered? The commander's sneer returned. Pathetic. They fired everything they had, and now they are finished. He raised a clawed hand. Advance, push closer, end this. The Dominion fleet obeyed. Warships descended lower, breaking through the atmosphere. Massive shadows fell across the Earth as alien vessels drew closer, weapons primed for the final strike. But as they descended, something changed. Satellites that had seemed inactive suddenly lit up, dozens of them glowing with red light, then hundreds, then thousands. What the Dominion thought were harmless machines were not communication devices at all. They were weapons. The commander's eyes widened. No, this cannot be. The sky erupted. From every orbiting satellite, streams of electromagnetic pulses burst outward, invisible but deadly. The waves crashed against alien ships, frying circuits, shutting down shields, and killing power cores. On the Dominion bridge, consoles went dark. Weapons shut down. Engines sputtered. Officers shouted in panic, clawing at controls that no longer responded. Shields failing. One screamed. "We've lost the forward batteries." Another cried. "Main power is collapsing." The fleet that had descended with such confidence was now drifting helplessly, caught in Earth's trap, and Earth was ready. From the ground, the silence broke once more, but this time it was thunder. Railguns hidden deep in mountain bunkers fired in unison. Missiles launched from every coast, every desert, every hidden base. The sky filled with fire as Earth unleashed its full arsenal. Alien ships, stripped of shields, were torn apart. Explosions rippled across the heavens, each one lighting the night brighter than the last. Entire Dominion cruisers split in half, raining debris down into the oceans. The commander gripped the railing of his bridge, his black eyes wide with disbelief. Impossible. They planned this. They waited for us to descend. Yes. That was the truth. Earth had never been silent because it was weak. Earth had been silent because it was patient. Every move, every counter had been prepared for this very moment. The human leader's voice returned, carried across every channel. Calm, cold, steady. You thought we would kneel. You thought we were prey. But you walked into our trap, the plow. Dominion officers shivered. There was no fear in the human's voice, only certainty. On the surface, the people of Earth watched the burning sky. Cities shook with the sound of thunder, but the cheers of defiance rose louder. Soldiers in bunkers roared as alien ships exploded. Families in shelters held each other tighter, their fear turning into hope. The aliens had expected to crush a weak world. Instead, they had found themselves trapped in a death world's jaws. The commander slammed his claws against the console. Fight back. Regain control. But it was too late. His fleet was crumbling. His pride was broken. And for the first time, the Great Dominion realized the truth. Earth had not only prepared for invasion, Earth had prepared to devastate them. The Death World response. The Dominion fleet was in chaos. Ships burned in orbit, drifting wrecks glowing like dying stars. Yet the aliens pressed on, desperate to prove their power. With their shields broken, they sent ground forces down, hoping to crush the humans directly. Transport screamed through the atmosphere, streaks of fire cutting across the night sky. They slammed into Earth's surface, opening like steel jaws to release waves of armored soldiers. Cities, forests, and deserts erupted with alien troops. The commander's voice echoed through their comms. "Seize the ground, break their spirit, force them to yield." But the ground was not welcoming. In the ruined streets of a city, alien squads marched confidently, their armor shining under firelight. They expected civilians to run, to hide. Instead, gunfire cracked from the shadows. Windows burst as human fighters unleashed ambushes. Rockets screamed from rooftops, tearing through alien armor. The aliens roared, firing plasma into the buildings, collapsing entire blocks. But the humans did not scatter. They moved like shadows, vanishing and reappearing, striking with precision. "Commander," a ground officer shouted through comms, "the humans fight like predators. They are everywhere." In the forests, it was worse. Dominion troops crashed through trees, their scanners searching for heat signatures. But the woods came alive with traps. Mines buried in the soil exploded under their boots. Nets of steel wire dropped from above, tearing into their ranks. And from the branches, human snipers fired shot after shot, vanishing before they could be found. One alien soldier stumbled, his armor cracked by a hidden explosive. As he fell, he looked up and saw nothing but trees swaying in the wind. He whispered in fear, "This world, it hunts us." In the deserts, dust storms howled with unnatural fury. Sand blinded alien visors. Vehicles sank into hidden pits. Human raiders struck fast and vanished into the storm, leaving only wreckage behind. Even the weather turned against them. A sudden lightning storm ripped across the battlefield, frying alien machines while humans, used to nature's fury, pressed on through the rain. Reports flooded the Dominion flagship. Every region, every landing zone spoke of disaster. Alien squads wiped out, tanks destroyed, entire platoons vanishing without a trace. The commander's black eyes burned with disbelief. How can they resist so much? This world should break them. But his second officer spoke softly, trembling. "Commander, maybe it is the world itself. They were shaped by this planet. The storms, the beasts, the fire. This is normal for them. We call them weak, but they call it life." The word struck like a blade. On the surface, humans fought not like soldiers defending a nation, but like predators defending their territory. Every street was a trap. Every shadow was a weapon. A squad of Dominion troopers pushed through a ruined subway, their boots splashing in black water. They moved carefully, weapons raised. Suddenly, lights flickered. A rumble echoed in the dark. The tunnel collapsed. Concrete and steel rained down, burying them alive. Above, human fighters nodded to each other and vanished into the smoke. The commander listened as report after report came in, each one worse than the last. His claws dug into his chair until sparks flew from the metal. "No, they are not stronger than us. They cannot be." But deep inside, he felt the truth gnawing at him. The humans were not just fighting back. They were turning Earth itself into a weapon. In orbit, the human leader's voice returned, calm and steady. "You came to take our world. You thought it would yield. But this is a death world. Every storm, every stone, every hand will fight you, and we will never stop." On the Dominion bridge, silence fell. Officers shifted uneasily. The word echoed in their minds. "Death world." For the first time, whispers spread among the crew. Some lowered their eyes, some trembled, and some asked the forbidden question, "Are we the hunters, or are we the prey?" The commander roared to silence them, but his voice cracked. His pride was slipping, his army was breaking, and deep in his chest, fear bloomed like fire. The arrival. The stars above Earth were no longer empty. They burned with light from alien engines, thousands of warships drifting into orbit like shadows of doom. Their hulls were black, sharp, and endless, blotting out the sky. From the ground, People looked up and saw the night filled with glowing lines as fleets moved into formation. The aliens had arrived. For weeks, rumors had spread across Earth. Strange signals. Lights near the moon, disappearing satellites. Now the truth was clear. The Dominion fleet had come not to visit, but to conquer. On the largest ship, a vessel so massive it dwarfed mountains, the alien commander stood on his bridge. His eyes were narrow and black, his armor gleaming with cruel designs. He looked down at the blue and green planet below with contempt. "This world will kneel," he said, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Primitive creatures. They will yield without a fight." Around him, alien officers hissed in agreement. To them, Earth was weak. A single planet. No colonies. No great fleets. What could such a species do against the power of the Dominion? Commander raised a hand and a glowing hologram flickered to life. A human face appeared on their screens. It was Earth's representative, a leader chosen to speak for the planet. His expression was unreadable. The alien commander leaned forward. His voice was deep, filled with arrogance. "People of Earth, your world now belongs to us. Surrender your weapons, your armies, your skies, and perhaps some of you will live. Resist, and we will erase you." The bridge filled with silence. The aliens waited for the human to cry out, to beg for mercy, to fall on his knees. But the man said nothing. His face remained calm, his eyes steady. He did not answer the threat. He simply stared back at them, as if measuring them, as if waiting. The silence stretched on. On Earth, billions watched the transmission. Cities full of frightened people held their breath. Families crowded around screens. Soldiers gripped their weapons tighter. Children whispered questions to parents who had no answers. The whole planet seemed to stop, listening for the response that never came. The alien commander's lips curled into a sneer. "Do you not hear me, human? Do you not understand? I offer you mercy. Take it, or I will burn your world." Still no answer. The human only blinked, his face calm, almost cold. The aliens shifted uneasily. Some officers exchanged nervous glances. They had seen many worlds fall, many species surrender. But this silence felt wrong. It was not fear. It was something else. Finally, the transmission cut out. The human face vanished. The screen went dark. The alien commander's jaw tightened. "So be it," he growled. "If they will not kneel, then they will burn." He raised his clawed hand, signaling the fleet. Above Earth, the warships adjusted, weapons glowing to life. The night sky filled with light as cannons charged, ready to strike. From the surface, the people saw beams of fire building in orbit. Fear rippled through every city. Sirens wailed. Families rushed into shelters. Soldiers scrambled to stations. It was the beginning of war. But on Earth, something strange happened. The cities did not panic as much as the aliens expected. Soldiers moved quickly, but with purpose. Bunkers opened, not in chaos, but in discipline. Civilians huddled in silence, their faces pale but their eyes sharp. The silence of Earth was not weakness. It was patience. High above the planet, hidden among satellites and debris, machines stirred to life. Long-forgotten defense platforms unfolded, their metallic bodies glowing in the darkness. Beneath the oceans, submarines shifted silently, their missile hatches opening. In mountains and deserts, bunkers long sealed cracked open, revealing weapons the Dominion had not scanned. The aliens thought Earth had nothing. They were wrong. The human leader stood in a control room deep underground. Around him, generals and scientists whispered, waiting for his word. His face remained calm, steady. "They expect us to yield," he said quietly. "Let them fire first. Let them believe." The room fell silent. The order was clear. Earth would not speak. Earth would wait. On the alien flagship, the commander smiled cruelly. His fleet was ready. "Fire," he commanded. Beams of plasma shot downward, streaking like burning stars. They cut through the blackness of space, heading straight for Earth. The first strike had begun, but far below, hidden defenses waited in silence. And the aliens had no idea what was about to hit them. The first strike, the alien fleet unleashed its fury. Bolts of plasma, bright as falling suns, rained down from orbit. The sky above Earth lit up with streaks of fire, tearing through clouds as they fell. Cities trembled as the ground shook. Windows shattered. The air roared like thunder as the Dominion began their attack. On the alien flagship, the commander's lips curled into a cruel smile. "At last," he said softly. "They will understand who rules them." His officers hissed in approval. To them, Earth was already defeated. No world had ever survived the Dominion's first strike, but something was wrong. As the plasma bolts neared the surface, the silence broke. From hidden bunkers, missile silos roared open. From beneath the seas, submarines launched their payloads. And high in orbit, satellites unfolded, glowing with deadly light. Earth had not been waiting in fear. Earth had been waiting to strike. The first alien blasts were met by sudden lines of fire from below. Railguns, long buried in mountain bases, screamed into life. Metal slugs shot upward faster than sound, piercing through the atmosphere. They slammed into alien cruisers before shields could fully power. Explosions bloomed like new stars in the blackness of space. The commander's smile vanished. His eyes widened as two of his ships broke apart, their hulls spinning into flaming debris. "What is this?" he snapped. His officers scrambled at their stations. "Unregistered weapons. They were hidden. Earth has planetary defenses." Another report cut in, panicked. Multiple satellites activating in high orbit, energy signatures and stronger than expected. On the bridge, the crew stared in disbelief. Their scans had shown Earth as primitive, weak, unprepared. But now hidden weapons revealed themselves everywhere, as if the entire planet had been waiting for this moment. From orbit, the alien fleet fired again. Plasma bolts rained down, striking mountains, forests, oceans. Explosions ripped across the surface, but many of the shots were intercepted. Human missiles and interceptors rose from the ground like a swarm of angry bees meeting alien fire in the sky. The collisions lit the atmosphere in flashes of blinding light. For the first time, the Dominion's assault was not one-sided. On the surface, human soldiers moved into position. Tanks rolled through city streets. Anti-aircraft cannons rotated, skyward, spitting fire into the clouds. Fighter jets streaked into the sky, their engines screaming, weaving through alien blasts with impossible maneuvers. The aliens were shocked. These small human ships should have been no threat. But they darted and twisted in ways Dominion fighters could not predict. One by one, alien craft were shot from the sky, crashing into oceans and burning fields. The commander's claws dug into the arm of his chair. "Impossible," he hissed. "They should have broken already." His second officer turned, eyes wide with fear. "Commander, they are fighting as if they were waiting for us." The commander slammed a fist onto the console. "No, they are weak. They must be weak." But even as he spoke, another explosion rocked the fleet. A hidden railgun from Antarctica had fired a slug the size of a car. It punched straight through a Dominion battleship, splitting it in half. The broken vessel fell into Earth's atmosphere, burning as it crashed into the ocean below. Billions of humans around the planet watched the skies. They saw the alien ships exploding, falling, burning. And for the first time since the invasion, began hope stirred. Cheers broke out in bunkers and shelters. Soldiers roared as they saw alien craft fall. The silence of Earth had ended. Now came the fire. The alien commander snarled, rising to his feet. "No more games. Break them. Crush their defenses. Show them the full power of the Dominion." But his words sounded hollow. He had expected fear, surrender, and despair. Instead, he was seeing defiance. Instead of broken people, he was seeing fighters. The Dominion had fought many wars, but this was different. This was not just resistance. This was survival, and survival had a face. On the human control screens, the Earth leader finally spoke. His voice was calm, steady, but it carried through every channel, every frequency. You thought we would yield. You thought wrong. The alien commander froze as the words echoed across his bridge. His officers looked at one another in silence. For the first time, the Dominion was not certain of victory. The first strike was supposed to break Earth. Instead, it had awakened it, and what was coming next would decide everything.